Hey Browns fans, things are heating up in Cleveland, and the main question on everyone's minds is the future of James Winston as the starting quarterback. After a 21-7 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, the Browns' struggles weren't just about the score, they were a complete meltdown. Let's break it down and look at what's next, so be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more updates. That game featured 6 turnovers, 3 interceptions by Winston, a costly fumble by Nick Chubb, and even James Proche and backup QB Dorian Thompson-Robinson contributed their own treats. You just can't win football games by giving the ball away 6 times. And you can sense the frustration from head coach Kevin Stefanski. After the game, Stefanski didn't mince words. He said, "We've got to take better care of the football. It's everybody. It's not one person. It's not one side of the ball. It's a team loss, but it's really frustrating because you're just not going to win any games doing that." Still, there were glimmers of hope. Jerome Ford gave us a spark with that electric 62-yard touchdown run in the third quarter. It brought the Browns back to within 2 scores. But Kansas City's defense was relentless, eliminating any chance of a comeback. The turnovers were too much to overcome, and Patrick Mahomes took full advantage of Cleveland's mistakes. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Jameis Winston. Winston threw his 3rd interception in the 4th quarter, a deep shot to the end zone that was picked off by Trent McDuffie. That's Winston's 12th interception since taking over as the starter, and it's also his 3rd game this season with 3 picks. But here's the twist, Winston's gunslinger mentality is what powered the Browns' offense earlier this season. In 7 games, he's thrown 14 touchdown passes. So yes, he's aggressive, but it's clear that Stefanski is losing patience with the costly mistakes. When asked if Winston will start in Week 16 against the Bengals, Stefanski refused to commit. He said, "I'm just not going to get into any decisions right now. This is not about one person." Jameis does a great job preparing for these games. He's fighting his tail off, and I appreciate that from him, but we'll make the decision there. That statement leaves the door wide open. Could we see Dorian Thompson-Robinson get the start? DTR came in late against the Chiefs and didn't do much to inspire confidence, completing 4 of 9 passes for 18 yards and tossing his own interception. But with the Browns now eliminated from playoff contention, it wouldn't be surprising if they use these last 3 games to evaluate their quarterback situation heading into next year. On the injury front, the news isn't great. Nick Chubb left the game in the 3rd quarter and has been ruled out for the rest of the season with a broken foot. After battling his way back from a season-ending knee injury in 2023, this is another devastating blow for Chubb and the team. Stefanski praised Chubb's incredible determination, saying, "I can't say it enough, how impressive it was to watch him get back this season. Very, very disappointed with yesterday and him having that unfortunate injury." But it's not all doom and gloom, Browns fans. Veteran safety Rodney McLeod Jr. delivered an emotional message about finishing the season strong. McLeod, who plans to retire after this year, said he's determined to win the final 3 games and go out on a high note. "I want to win all 3. I want to go out a winner. I think any competitor respects the game enough to fight until the very end. You've got to love that kind of attitude." So what's next? The Browns head to Cincinnati in Week 16 to take on the Bengals. It's a divisional matchup with no playoff implications for Cleveland, but it's still a chance for the Browns to finish the season strong and figure out what they've got at quarterback. Whether it's Winston or Thompson-Robinson under center, this game could provide answers or just raise more questions for a franchise that desperately needs stability at the QB position heading into 2025. All right, Browns fans, now it's your turn. Do you think it's time to move on from Jameis Winston? Should the Browns give Dorian Thompson-Robinson a shot to prove himself, or stick with Winston for the final stretch? And what about Nick Chubb? How do you feel about his latest injury and what it means for his future in Cleveland? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now, Jameis Winston, who came in after Deshaun Watson went down, has had another tough outing. Winston threw 3 interceptions against the Chiefs, bringing his total to 12 this season in just 7 games. That's 3 behind Kirk Cousins, and Winston has thrown 140 fewer passes. To make matters worse, this was Winston's 3rd game with 3 interceptions. And listen, we know what Winston brings to the table. He's a gunslinger, and sometimes that aggressive style works. But right now, it's killing us. Head coach Kevin Stefanski refused to commit to Winston as the starter for next week's divisional matchup against the Bengals. When asked about it, Stefanski said, "We're still putting the Kansas City game to bed. So anything relating to Cincinnati, I'll update you guys as we get into the week. Ultimately, we want to do what's best for the team. That's coach speak for we're thinking about it, but we don't have a decision yet." And honestly, you can't blame Stefanski. Winston's turnovers are putting this team in impossible situations, and at this point, the Browns have to consider other options. So what are those options? Well, let's start with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. DTR came into the game late on Sunday and didn't exactly inspire confidence, completing just 4 of 9 passes for 18 yards and throwing his own interception. But look, with the Browns already eliminated from playoff contention, this could be an opportunity to get DTR some real experience. He might not be the long-term solution, but at least the team can evaluate what they have in him moving forward. Then there's Bailey Zapp. Stefanski could throw Zapp out there just to see what happens, maybe as a spark, maybe to change the vibe in the locker room. But let's be honest, Zapp feels like the guy you start in a meaningless Week 17 game when the opponent is resting its starters. It's hard to see him as anything more than that. The truth is, Browns fans, it doesn't really matter who plays quarterback at this point. The season has been over since Week 1, even if we didn't realize it at the time. What the Browns need to do now is evaluate their options, figure out where the team went wrong, and start building a plan for next season. Because let's face it, this quarterback situation can't happen again in 2025. Now let's shift gears for a moment, because the Nick Chubb injury news really hit hard. Chubb suffered a broken foot on Sunday, another devastating blow for a guy who's already been through so much. Chubb spent last offseason rehabbing from a severe knee injury that tore all the major ligaments in his left knee. He worked his tail off to get back, made his 2024 debut in Week 7, and now this. It's just heartbreaking. Myles Garrett summed up what everyone in the locker room is feeling when he said, "It just goes from bad to worse, man. There's not a harder working, more resilient guy in this locker room than Nick. He's one of the cornerstones of this team, and it's tough to see him go through this again." Chubb sets the tone for this entire team. His work ethic, his attitude, his determination, it's why he's loved by teammates, coaches, and fans alike. Even Stefanski said Chubb's ability to inspire the team is unmatched. I can't tell you how much I respect him as a person. This injury doesn't change the fact that he continues to inspire this team every single day. And that's what makes this so tough, Browns fans. Nick Chubb represents everything we love about this team: hard work, resilience, and never backing down. It's gut-wrenching to see him face yet another obstacle. So here's where we're at, Browns fans. We've got 3 games left. The season's over, the playoffs are out of the picture, and the team's playing for pride at this point. The big question is, who should start at quarterback? Should the Browns stick with Winston, give DTR a shot, or even try Bailey Zapp? And how do you feel about Nick Chubb's injury and what it means for his future in Cleveland? I want to hear from you in the comments. Let's keep this conversation going. And if you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss a Browns update. We've got 3 games left, and we'll be here to break it all down for you. Go Browns!